Hi, and welcome to Hypothetically Intentional, where we ask the question, what if we set intentions with everything we do? I'm your co-host, Michelle, and today I'm your only host. I'm flying solo again today, coming at you as the no bullshit accountability coach who guides people out of the suck. Get unstuck from the suck and live the life you love. Most of the people that I work with are either really wanting to deepen their connection with their divine source, with their spirituality, connecting with their highest self, whatever that looks like for them, or they are looking to deep dive into personal transformation. So personal growth, growth mindset, and really shifting into self-healing. And that is where we land kind of no matter what we're looking to shift or change or transform or evolve. It is shifting into that growth mindset and understanding that we have choices, not always choices with the external, but choices with how we navigate things, and understanding that while the choices may eventually, I believe they can get to limitless, they're not limitless right out of the gate. We have to start where we're at, and we have to take it one step at a time. And where that takes us is unknown, but taking a step toward transformation, toward where we're at right now, moving in a direction that leads us somewhere that brings us joy, somewhere that leads us to living the life that we love, is a huge step and a huge choice to make in that journey of getting unstuck from the suck. So deep dive, we are a deep dive community. I guess I'll put it that way. The events that we host, the work that we do together, and how we connect is, we might start at the surface, but most often people who are coming into the community have already, been in it for a while and been doing the work for a while, and they've gone to a place where it's a deeper dive, and it's time to look at some things that perhaps were being avoided for a while because it wasn't time, not even in a good, bad, or indifferent kind of way, just because it wasn't time yet. So I really believe in divine timing and in really being honest and open with yourself about where you're at, and understanding that where you are right now is I was going to use the word perfect, but that brings in that perfectionist piece. But I am going to use, it is where you're at right now is where you're at right now. It is the present. It is the truth, as long as we're seeing it accurately. And then where we step from there is when we do that mindfully and with support and with honesty within ourselves, it can take you possibly a lot beyond. It can take you beyond where you perhaps even allowed yourself to dream. That has been my discovery on my own personal journey. It has been a discovery with clients and people that I work with that, sometimes our dreams aren't big enough or aren't as big as they can be. But that is not said with any sort of pressure or any sort of judgment with it. It is simply my observations as a coach and as someone who is a seeker, who is on the path of, I want to be better today than I was yesterday. I want to do the work and notice the places where I'm stuck and navigate that in a way that is healthy and true and for my best and highest good. And in doing that for myself, I can also assist and hold space for others. And I will say it took me a really, really, really long time to really open up to and gain experience and knowledge and wisdom around this sort of journey. And because it took me so long and I made a lot of mistakes and made things harder than they had to be, I can fast track people at least a little bit more, a smidgy more than, and sometimes leaps and bounds more than if they were to do it alone. And I didn't do it alone, and I still resisted the crap out of it for a really long time. And fear was probably my biggest stuck point. And also understanding, I now understand that I was really comfortable in the discomfort. Getting out of the discomfort was the terrifying thing for me. I didn't know how I would feel healed. I didn't know how I would feel without the trauma. I didn't know how I would feel without, the pain points, or with the pain points having a different relationship with them. And so that was a challenge, a big challenge for me. And I find a lot of people, we have these stories that are comfortable and common and easy, and they come in without even thought. It's almost like it's just an innate, or like a reflex, almost, some of the stories that we tell ourselves. And they are comfortable, even though they, on the long term, are, they bring discomfort and dis-ease. And I think I'm finding on my own journey that I can be really honest with myself and know that I'm in a space of a pain point, or, not coming from my highest self, not being in that wise state, that inner wisdom, and still see that, that's like, I can almost, like, I'm witnessing myself in that struggle. And then because I can witness that, it gives me this awareness of that I need to do something different, or that I want to do something different. It brings me to that state of desire, of not wanting to stay stuck, and understanding that living the life I love is way more important than any of the work or the pain or the struggle of coming out of whatever I'm in, if that makes any sense at all. So I think today I'm just going to invite you to ask yourself some questions and be inquisitive with yourself, and really come from a place of pause and ask your ego to step aside so that you can receive divine guidance, so that you can come from your inner wisdom. If divine guidance isn't your thing, your own inner wisdom, however that resonates with you, but coming from that place where it's not coming from a fear place. It's not coming from any sort of state of, an old pattern, to explore stepping into a new opportunity of a perspective. So asking yourself things like, where is this coming from when you're in a place of struggle? Or asking yourself what lesson, might be present here for you. So often mine is patience, but also mine is and I was going to say understanding fear. I think more changing my relationship with fear, like understanding that taking a step, if you pause first and gather your resources and your tools, and if you don't have a lot of them, start seeking that. That's a great place to start. Finding people that you can trust to support you. Finding things in the world that bring you comfort. Like for me, that's nature is a big one. I mentioned Zentangle in a previous episode, or in probably episodes, because that's a big one for me. It brings me pause, and it gets me out of that loop, that thought loop, so that I can just have space to allow other new information to come in. So finding things that might work for you, so that you can build a foundation of things that will be supportive to you as you open yourself to yourself, and understanding that while I might not be the good fit for you for a coach, or I might be, there are other people in this world who, I've met so many amazing people on this journey who are helping people help themselves. And we all tick and thrive and grow just a little bit differently, or a lot differently, and finding those people that really resonate with you, that can help you, that are best for you for where you're at right now. And I think that's such a key piece. I had, when I first started my journey, there were people that would come in and out of, almost like my feed, like my social media feeds, or like in just things I would see in the world. And some of them I was like, it's not time yet. They're too deep for me. I can't do that thing, or the thing that they're talking about, I don't even know what that means, or I couldn't even comprehend what that might feel like. But then on that same day, another teacher or guide would come in, and I would be like, oh, that's the thing. That's what I really want to work on right now. Just for example, maybe it's confidence. Maybe you want to build self-trust and confidence and the ability to own who you are, which that's a big thing. That's a bigger picture, a lot of layers to it, and a lot of different avenues and ways to get there. But there might be just one thing in their messaging that calls to you that says, hey, that's the thing I want to work on. And if you get that little ping from something you see, dig into it a little, explore it. I'm not saying you have to go sign up with that person or go take that class, but you might end up there. You might be called to do that. But you also might just get a new thought pattern, or a new idea, or a new concept, or, the seed planted for a new perspective. And I think I I always talk about, or I used to always talk about, I don't always anymore, but I used to always talk about how, whenever I go to an event or whenever I'm hosting an event or teaching at an event, I'm scattering seeds out into the soil. And depending on, the content of your soil and how good it is, how nourished it is, and, those seeds might be ready to just sprout right away. But probably not all of them, because there's a lot of different kinds of seeds here and they might need different things. And so these seeds that sort of get thrown out into your field or your garden, you get to pick which ones you want to nurture. You get to pick which ones you want to focus on. You get to pick, and it might just be one. It might just be one seed at a time that you decide to put in a place where the soil is perfect for that seed and, it gets the perfect amount of sun and you water it and you make sure it has the nutrients. And then that's the seed that you're focusing on, you're giving love to, you are observing and witnessing and holding space for. And that seed then, as you learn to support and nurture that seed, that seed is representing yourself, right? And how you're navigating your personal growth, your personal healing, and what, witnessing what you might need next. So I think today I was just really called to invite you to observe yourself and to maybe even consider that there might be a new perspective that is available for you. There might be a lesson that you're working on right now in this moment that maybe you haven't even realized that you're working on this opportunity to learn something different, to challenge yourself to something new, to shift out of something that is no longer serving your best and highest good, and to then when that releases, when that gets surrendered and let go, and that's healed and forgiven often is a piece of that too, right? And acknowledged and appreciated and all of those things, when that gets truly released and let go, there's this new space. And maybe it doesn't get filled instantly. So maybe it just gets filled with divine love, divine light, divine healing. And that holds that space until what's next comes in and fills that space and gets integrated in as part of your foundation, as part of the solid foundation that we build. I think about I'm at the beginning of my journey, and several times throughout my journey, I've been, really working on myself since I was 35 years old, but I didn't really drop into a supportive community or a space where I had support within that, or that's how it felt, until I was, in my early 40s, or until I was around 40. So I had 5 years of floundering and trying to figure it out. And then, stepping into a space that actually, led me to better places and way more tools. So on my journey, when I was building my foundation, it was like sometimes it literally felt like my whole world had to fall apart. And then I had to just like pick up the pieces and step forward again. And when those big moments like that happened, I just, thankfully at that time I was in a space where I had support and really wise guides in my corner helping me, and my world surrounding me helping me understand that I really wanted to be mindful about which pieces I picked back up, if any, and how I filled that space, and what tools and resources and bits and bobs worked for me and what bits and bobs didn't, and what was for my best and highest good. And that when you can just pause and observe and ask if this is for your best and highest good. And then here's the thing, listen to the response, because you will get visceral responses in your body. And if you, are connected to intuition and, your divine guidance, that can also give you different ways to receive the information. But even just simply listening in your body, like when we get our yeses, there's like space and openness and almost sometimes even like an excitement that bubbles up in your body, and you want to like skip or do a little happy dance. And then when it's a no viscerally in your body, like an intuitive no, right? Like this is like your being telling you no. It's like things tighten up and close off. And I mean, like, as I'm speaking, like my eyebrows are like, going inward, and like I have my angry 11s that I call them between my eyebrows when I scowl, happening as I'm thinking about no's. And when I think about yeses, I get like this openness and this smile. And I just like, you can even hear it in my voice. It's just a different experience. So, I invite you, as we kick off the new year, And maybe you're all tired of hearing New Year. Happy New Year. Let's go. Let's do this. If 2023 was a really hard, sucky year and the new year doesn't feel like it's shifted a whole lot yet because we just are getting started, I can see where that might be a frustrating thing. Perhaps just pause and offer yourself some grace. Ask yourself what guidance is necessary, what guidance would be helpful, and just ask yourself to show you new ways to listen and offer yourself a pause more often in 2024. If you can just pause momentarily to just assess and build that muscle of awareness and of shifting your perspective and of really being open and honest with yourself about where you're at and what your next step might be, and just inviting in what's for your best and highest good, and knowing that you deserve that and you are worth that. And if you're not feeling super self-lovey right now, which I don't even super love that term. If you're just not feeling a whole lot of love within and desire and passion about, what you have to offer the world, then reach out to someone who can support you, reach out to someone who can help you, and also just pause and ask yourself what might bring you joy in this moment, what might take you a step in a direction toward, which seed you might want to nourish and nurture in your garden or in your fields that is open and there for you to tend to. It's work. It takes work. It doesn't just happen, overnight or without some effort on your part, but it is worth every single step and every single moment of divinely connected, highest self-guided, steps. It's an amazing journey when you decide that you can do it, you are worth it, and you have something to offer for yourself and for the world. And for you overgivers out there, start with you. Start with you. Always start with you. And from that highest place, not in a place where you're, overtaking or anything like that. Just start with you and assess and take a couple breaths and ask for divine wisdom, connect with your highest self, and see where it takes you. If we can support you in any way, let me know. Reach out. We have hypothetically intentional social media channels now. We have Facebook, we have Instagram at hypothetically intentional. It's easy to find us. And if you have anything that you want us to talk about or you want us to dig into, we are here for you. It's an amazing journey, and I appreciate you being here listening, and we will catch you in the next episode. I'm hoping for a co-host next episode. I don't mind flying solo, and I really enjoy the conversations with a co-host. So we'll talk to you soon. Bye. Be you every day.